Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom or Shalom, and welcome to the live. I'm your host, Salvation of Israel, and we're back. Again, I want to say Shalom, family, and welcome back to the channel where we break down the scriptures with clarity, precepts, and truth. So if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the family. This is where edification meets defense of the gospel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any lessons, street teachings, rebuttals, or deep dives into the word. Let's get into it. Tonight, we're going to be dealing with a topic that has created somewhat of a divide within the nation of Israel, the children of Israel as a whole. And the reason this topic was brought out, as I'll share on the screen here shortly, is because it was something that came across my live on TikTok. And someone had proceeded to explain, when are we supposed to observe the Shabbat? And while I respectfully disagreed from their perspective, I informed them that I would make a video showing why my stance is what it is. So my question is, as you see from the title, when does the Shabbat begin? Does it begin in the morning? Do we observe it in the morning or in the evening? Let me pull this display up for you. Sabbath. Does this start in the morning or in the evening? Such a controversial topic to discuss when there are so many people who have studied this and they've come to the determination that many observe from even to evening, some observe from sundown, the seventh day, sun up, Salakia, the seventh day to sundown. And some go as far as observing it from Friday evening to Sunday sunrise. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some scriptures tonight. We're going to ask you walk with us, and we're going to see if we can rightly divide this word as we walk along, because as we go through these, many of our brothers and sisters will be able to take down these notes, go back and review what it is that we have discussed on this platform. And we encourage you to study, go back and check behind us. Make sure that what it is that is presented today lines up with what the word says, and that the Most High revealed the confirmation to your spirit. So we're going to get started and give a brief introduction. When does the Shabbat begin? Most Sabbath keepers today follow the lead of modern Jewish people in keeping Shabbat from even to even. But have you ever studied to see if this practice is biblical? That's what we're going to do today. And we're going to show you why this is important to go back and test these theories and these doctrines to make sure it is in line with what the scripture says, as you can see on the screen. Let's go to the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. We're going to start at verse 21. Read along with me, please. As you can see here on the screen, it says, prove all things, hold fast to that which is good. Prove all things, hold fast to that which is good. Whenever we say we're going to do something in regards to scripture, we have to prove it with precepts, not our own interpretation. Okay. What we're going to deal with is modern ish traditions. And when I say ish, some people refer to them as the small hats and so forth and so on. And we're going to deal with the Torah and the Talmud. What we'll find is that modern Judaism is rooted more in the Talmud or oral traditions, okay, than in the Torah. Secondly, like the Pharisees of old, traditions of men are exalted above the commandments of the Most High. Thirdly, their interpretation of the verse has caused the world to adapt evening to evening Sabbaths. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go and examine the scriptures and walk through this. And we're going to start off by looking at Revelations chapter 22 and verse 15. Revelations 22 and 15. Please pay attention to this verse carefully as we read along. It says, "For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie." It says, are, for without the kingdom are. And it says, whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Okay. So what we have to address is the misuse of the very, very verse that they use to observe the Shabbat from even to evening. Let's look at the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5. And we're going to break this down. In the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5, it reads as follows. It says, "And the Most High called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And even and morning were the first day." Okay? And even and morning were the first day. The Ish people teach that this means a day starts in the evening. Okay? They also teach um, that the text ends the day in the evening and morning begins the new day. That's what we're going to show. But the text shows light equals day and darkness equals night. Okay, we're going to prove that. We're going to prove that with scripture. Watch this. I'm going to pull this PowerPoint on so you can see a visual. This is what they teach. When you understand Genesis 1 and 5, they teach that evening and the morning, where the first day means that the evening starts the day. But the text shows that light equals day and darkness equals night. It also means that evening ends the day and morning begins the new day. Keep that in mind. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some scriptures and we're going to test the theory, the Sabbath day. We're going to use that information that we get from precepts to test the Shabbat. Okay. So, let's look at Genesis chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 1 to 2. It says, "In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters." It says, darkness covered the deep. All right. Verse 3, And the Most High said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Verse 4. And the Most High saw the light, that it was good. And the Most High divided the light from the darkness. Okay. So in these two verses, in 3 and 4, the Most High said, "Let there be light," and divided day from night. Keep that in mind. Now, when we get to verse 5, it clearly tells us, it says, "And the Most High called the light day, and the darkness he called night." This is very important. And then it goes on to say, "And the evening and the morning were the first day." Evening and the morning were the first day. So let's look at some information that we just went over. Salakia, about my screen. Let's look at some key truths that we just identified in this verse. What we just what we just realized was, as we read this verse, we clearly see light was called good and darkness was not. Also, it's 6 days of creation, not 6 nights. 6 days everything was created, not 6 nights. That's very important. All right, let's continue. Again, we want to make sure that we understand that light equals day and darkness equals night. Let's go to First John chapter 1 and verse 5. The book of First John. The book of First John chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, then is the message which we have heard of him, and declare unto you, that the Most High is light, and in him is no darkness at all. Okay? The Most High is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. John 11 and verse 9. Bear with me, computer. Okay. John 11, verse 9 says, Yahushua answered, "Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world." He seeth the light of this world. Are there not 12 hours in the day? So let's look at some of the key information that we just covered. Let's look at some information that we just covered here. What we just read shows a biblical day equals 12 hours of light. 12 hours of light. Night is separate. Are there not 12 hours in a day? Keep that in mind. A biblical day equals 12 hours of light. So the role of the evening was that the evening ends the day. Okay. We're going to look at what the role of the evening was. The role of the evening was that the evening ends the day, it does not begin a new one. Okay. What we're also going to find out is that the sun rules the day, the moon rules the night, and they are both divided. Okay. That's what we're going to read. I'm going to go to the book of Judges, chapter 19 and verse 9. Judges 19 and verse 9 says, "And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father in law, the damsel's father, said unto him, Behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry, and tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go home." Evening marks the end of the day. Okay? Keep that in mind. Evening marks the end of the day. What we're going to deal with now are the lights in the firmament. The lights in the firmament. All right? We're going to read Genesis chapter 1, 14 to 18. We're going to look at the book of Genesis chapter 1, 14 to 18. Precepts are important to get this understanding. So important. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14. And it reads, "And the Most High said, Let there be lights in the firmament, okay, of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And the Most High made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And the Most High set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. Verse 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And the Most High saw that it was good. Okay. Again, as we read earlier, when I gave that presentation in the PowerPoint, second, pull that back up. We read about the roles. Okay. We read about the roles. The role of evening. Evening ends the day, it does not begin a new one. The sun rules the day, the moon rules the night, and they are both divided by evening. Okay? The moon's rulership, okay? A day cannot start under the moon's rulership. Remember, the Most High says he is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. Day and night are separate covenants. There's two separate covenants. Keep that in mind. We're going to read about that. We're going to go to the book of Jeremiah. I'm going to go to the book of Jeremiah 33. The book of Jeremiah 33. Watch this, family. We're going to start at verse 19 to 21. And the word of the Most High came unto Jeremiah, saying, Thus saith the Most High, if ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there should not be day and night in their season, right? Verse 21, then may also my covenant be broken with David, my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priest, my ministers. So day and night are distinct covenants. Okay. Day and night are distinct covenants. To mix them is to break the Most High's covenant order. Just like salt water and fresh water don't mix, they're divided. To mix the day and night, those two covenants, is to go against the Most High's covenant order. Let's look at Psalms 89 and verse 34. The Most High is a covenant Elohim. The book of Psalms 89 and verse 34. Psalms 89:34 says, My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips. The Most High will not break nor alter his covenant. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to recap what we just read in the book of Genesis. We're going to do a little summary. I'm going to show this PowerPoint on the screen. I appreciate everyone bearing with me. This is my first time doing this, so okay. What we just read in Genesis, darkness existed first, but no day began until light was created. Darkness existed first, but no day began until light was created. Light equals day, and darkness equals night. Evening ends the day, morning begins the day. Therefore, day equals day, night equals night, evening and morning, the divider, were the first day. Two separate covenants, two separate names. We have to get away from what we were indoctrinated that night and day, okay, consist of one whole day. The scriptures are very clear. It says evening and morning were the first day. When you greet someone early in the morning, you say good morning. When you greet someone later on as it's dawning towards the end of the day, the dusk, you say good evening. And when you're about to prepare yourself for rest, you say good night. Okay? Therefore, day equals day, night equals night, evening is the divider, morning is the beginning of the day. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some additional witnesses to confirm. Okay. We're going to go to the book of Numbers 11:32. Book of Numbers, chapter 11, verse 32. It says, and the people stood up all that day and all that night and all the next day, and they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. In this verse, what we want to make sure that we see, it says all that day, all that night. It says all that day and all that night, and all the next day. See that? Let's call another witness. Let's look at the book of Exodus 16, 23 to 25. All that day, all that night, and all the next day. Exodus 16, verse 23. And he said unto them, this is that which the Most High have said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath. This is on the 6th day unto the Most High. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe or boil, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. Keep that in mind. The morning. Tomorrow is the rest of the Shabbat. And it says, and that which remaineth over lay up to be for you to be kept until the morning. Again, the morning starts a new day, not evening. Okay? Not night. Tomorrow equals morning, not night. All right? Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 3. Gotta love precepts, man. Got to. Zephaniah 3 and verse 3. Watch this. It says, her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Till the morrow. Evening does not equal morning. Keep that in mind. All right. Now we're going to look at the Day of Atonement as an example. When we go to the book of Leviticus chapter 23, we're going to see this as an example. Watch this. Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to read verse 27. We're going to read two verses, but we're going to read verse 27 first. Dealing with the Day of Atonement. It says, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls or fast, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. So in this verse, we clearly see that it's on the 10th day in the 7th month. That is when they observe the Day of Atonement, the 10th day. All right. Now we're going to drop down to verse 32. Watch this. In verse 32 says, and it shall be unto you a Shabbat of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. So it's showing that the 9th day of the month at evening, from even unto even. So in this verse, the ninth day in the evening, you afflict yourselves to observe the Day of Atonement, which is on the 10th day till even. So in this example, we see this observation started on the ninth day in the evening. From the morning of the 10th day to the evening of the 10th day, we will celebrate the Shabbat. In this example, you clearly see evening to evening. If the weekly Shabbat is already being observed even to even, why would this have to be indicated here precisely with those precise instructions? So clearly, when we read verse 27, it shows the ninth day evening. Then the morning is the 10th day, as we read about it in the book of Leviticus. I mean, the book of Exodus, when we talked about the weekly Shabbat. Okay, until the evening of the 10th day. So the atonement is the 10th day, but begins on the ninth at evening. Okay, this is an example, not the weekly Shabbat command. All right, we're going to look at another example dealing with the resurrection of the Mashiach. Okay, dealing with the resurrection of the Mashiach, we read about that in the book of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 1. Yes, Matthew 28 and verse 1. We can't allow these people who don't even read the scriptures and properly interpret them with precepts, tell us how to keep the weekly Shabbat. They're lying about who they are. One second. Let me just change this real quick. That's better. See the whole screen now. Okay. Matthew chapter 28 and verse 1. It says, in the end of the Shabbat, as it began to dawn toward the first day, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. So it says after Sabbath toward the dawn, right, of the first day of the week. Now let's look at Salakia. Let's look at Mark 16, Mark chapter 16. We're going to read verses 1 and 2. Watch this. In the book of Mark chapter 16, verse 1, it says, and when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome had bought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. Again, proving, okay, that the day starts in the morning at the rising of the sun. How do we know? Because they said clearly in verse 1, it says that they bought. This was after the Sabbath. This is that when the Sabbath was passed. There's no buying or selling on the Shabbat. When we go to the interlinear and we look up bought, they bought after the Shabbat. They went and purchased it to be in the marketplace, to attend it, to do business there, buy or sell of idle people, to haunt the marketplace, lounging. So they purchased, right? To purchase. They purchased these things. One second. Okay. Screen back. This is why we got to take time to examine these precepts, family. Many people are out and they're teaching many different doctrines in these days and times. We understood that we understand that you cannot buy or sell on the Shabbat. No buying, no selling on the Shabbat. And it clearly tells us that this was after the Shabbat, when they went to the marketplace and bought this these incense and spices to anoint the body of the Mashiach. And we know that we cannot buy and sell on the Shabbat. So again, it's showing and confirming, when does the day start? So what we're going to do is we're going to visit the creation order, revisit it. We're going to revisit that. All right. And it says evening equals the end of the day, moving into the night. Morning equals the start of the day. All right. And creation happened in 6 days, not nights, in 6 days. That's very important. So in First John, when we go back to the book of First John, and we go to 1 and 5 again, we're going to recap that part again. And this is just to get you started. There's so many more verses, but I didn't want to make this a long video. There's so many more precepts that can go with this breakdown, but we want you to go and do your own due diligence. Okay. We want to leave enough precepts out there that you can hear from the Most High and you can listen to this breakdown, and he'll give you even more information to confirm. First John chapter 1 and verse 5. Remember, it says, "This then is the message which we have heard of him and declare unto you, that the Most High is light, and in him is no darkness at all." It's very important. In him there is no darkness at all. And I'm going to give a few extra precepts at the end. Let's look at, again, 1 Timothy 6 and 16. 1 Timothy 6. The book of 1 Timothy 6 and 16 reads as follows. It says, "Who only hath immortality, dwelling in the light which no man can approach unto, whom no man have seen, nor can see, to whom be honor and power everlasting. Amen." He dwells in light, unapproachable, the Most High. He dwells in light, unapproachable. Look at 1 John chapter 1 and verse 7. The Most High dwells in light, unapproachable. We got to lay hold to these precepts, family, so we can make sure that we are observing the Shabbat correctly. But 1 John First John chapter 1 and verse 7 says, "But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another. And the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, his son, cleanses us from all sin." It says, walk in the light. So again, when we recap this, we understand that there are two great lights, the two great lights. We have the sun. Let's go back. Let's just go back and read it. Put it on the screen. Genesis chapter 1. We're going to read 16 to 18. Genesis chapter 1 And it reads as follows: And the Most High made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also, and Most High set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. Verse 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And the Most High saw that it was good. The Most High saw that it was good. So again, we see that the sun rules the day, the moon rules the night. Let's look at Psalms 136 and verse 7 through 9. Psalms 136, verse 7. It says, To him that made great lights, for his mercy endureth forever. The sun to rule by day, for his mercy endureth forever. The moon and stars to rule by night, for his mercy endureth forever. The sun to rule by day, moon and stars rule by night. Okay, so we're going to see this. Watch this, family. This is the separation. This is the separation. The Most High utterly severed light from darkness. He separated it. Why would man mix them together? Why would man mix light and darkness together? I'm going to read a final conclusion, but I'm going to give you some bonus precepts. In this final, or in this conclusion, the Shabbat does not begin Friday evening. Sabbath begins in the morning, sunrise, and ends at sunset. The weekly Shabbat, the seventh day, 12 hours of light. Even to evening Shabbat is Pharisaic leaven and Babylonian tradition. Okay, that's what that is. Evening to evening Shabbat is mentioned specifically around high holy days. Okay, now why is this important? Why is why is this important? And the reason I said that there are other precepts, I'm going to give you a few more precepts to prove this. When we look at Genesis, watch this carefully before we close out. When we look at the book of Genesis, chapter 1, this is why we have to read these verses slowly. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 4. We'll read verse 4 and 5 together. And the Most High saw the light that it was good, and the Most High divided the light from the darkness. So the Most High saw that the light was good, and he divided the light from the darkness. Keep that in mind. In verse 5, it says, And the Most High called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Evening and the morning were the first day. The light was good, but he didn't say the darkness was good. Deuteronomy, watch this. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8 and 9. This is so important. We have to get this correct, family. Deuteronomy chapter 32. We're going to read verses 8 and 9. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, we see that word divided again. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Most High's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. In this verse here, these two verses, mainly verse 8, we see that the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance. Then he separated the sons of Adam. Okay, so we see separation here. So when you have people telling you, as an Israelite brother or sister, that you're teaching uh, hate, or, or you're teaching certain things that's not including all people, clearly the division came from the Most High, not man. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1 and 2. Watch this. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 1 and 2. If I can get my screen to act right. Okay, here we go. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, when the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Remember, there are brothers and sisters that are in the truth that are teaching that we are supposed to save the other nations. We just read that the Most High divided and separated the other nations according to who? The children of Israel. He did that. Okay. So when you have people saying that you're teaching a method of hate because you're not including other nations of people, they're not disagreeing with you. They're disagreeing with what the Most High said. Let's look at First Thessalonians chapter 5, and we're going to read verse 5. The Most High divided the day from the night, the light from the darkness. First Thessalonians 5. And we're going to start at verse 5. We're going to read down to verse 8 because it says, ye are all the children of light. Who is this talking about? This is talking about the children of Israel. See here, he says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. It says, ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep in the night and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. Why is this important? He tells us, ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. You're not children of the night or of darkness. He separated the day from the night. Okay. So when people are teaching, when you have children of Israel and Christians and other religions teaching that salvation is to all people, they're mixing day and night together. The topic was, when do we observe the Shabbat? In the morning or in the evening? Okay. The morning is the greater light. We are children of the day, children of the light. We're not children of the dark or of the night. How could the weekly Shabbat start under the rulership of the lesser light, night, when we are the greater light? day. How could our weekly Shabbat start under the rulership of the lesser light? It's something to ponder on. Okay. And the scriptures gives examples of the separation all throughout the scriptures. I'm going to read a few more and then we're going to close. Okay. In the book of Matthew, chapter 4, Matthew chapter 4 and verse 2, just show an example. It says, and when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward a hunger. It says days and nights. Okay. So when we think of days today, because of the indoctrination under where we have been taught, if you said, how long you been fasting? Oh, I've been fasting for 7 days. And we teach that from a perspective that day and night includes one day. That's not how the scriptures read. Day is day, night is night. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights. So if they thought the same way, they would have just said 40 days. But he says and 40 nights. Let's look at another example found in the book of Jonah, chapter 1 and verse 17. Jonah, chapter 1 and verse 17. It says, now the Most High had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. 3 days and 3 nights. Okay. That's what it's showing. One more example in the book of Matthew 24 and 5. Matthew 24 and verse 5, it says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. So in the last days, the deception is going to come with many people proclaiming to be the children of Israel. They're going to be proclaiming and using the scriptures to deceive many. It is important that we study to show ourselves approved unto the Most High family. It is very important for us to show ourselves approved unto the Most High. We're living in a time now where we cannot be lax in our studying. And when you're presented with the question of when are we supposed to observe the Shabbat, I hope this information was able to help you begin your journey as you study this information out. And we encourage you to pray, seek the Most High, and make sure that he confirms this information in your spirit. Okay? That he confirms this information in your soul. And we just want to tell you that if you have not partnered with us, we are available on our TikTok on Salvation to Israel, where we go live, most high willing, every Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or you can follow us here on YouTube at Salvation to Israel 446. And we'll have more videos coming out, most high willing, that expounds on these specific topics. Sister Naya, thank you. And I'm grateful for the family that the Most High has allowed me to be a part of. And I'm grateful for the truth of the word that he has entrusted me with. And I prepare to send this and share this information with my brothers and sisters. With that, we're going to head on out. We love you, family. Be safe. Hey, all praises to the Most High. Pray for the peace of Israel, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, to the four corners. Bethink yourselves in the land of your captivity, family. Wake up, Israel. We're about to go home. Don't get weary in your well-doing.